Hello, hello, hello. Come on in, sit down, have a seat, shut the door. Welcome to another edition of the Brooklyn Baby Podcast with me, your host, Charlene Sapp. Well, by the time you hear this podcast, we would have experienced Christmas. Christmas already took place, and we are on the precipice of welcoming another new year. We are a few days away from New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, because it's Saturday, the last Saturday of December. So we have, about 3 or 4 days before we welcome in the new year. Exciting time of year. And can I say it again? My favorite time of year. August 30th, all the way through the beginning of the new year. Well, this particular episode was inspired by me watching a certain reality TV show, and they were talking about mental health. So this particular episode is dedicated to just that topic, mental health. Commonly, and especially in society, but particularly in the Black community, mental health is something that, in my opinion, in my observation, until recent years, is finally getting the attention and the light that it deserves, because it was always look down if someone was dealing with something mentally. Oh, you crazy, they crazy, they off, something wrong with that boy, something wrong with that girl, but people need to take it more seriously, and people who suffered with mental illness, it felt like a taboo. It felt like it was something that was shunned. People were made to feel ashamed to be in need of mental help. But I'm just happy that our society as a whole, and this is my observation, I think most would agree, has now moved forward to embracing it, accepting it, making people know it's okay not to be okay, and to seek a therapist, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a counselor, some type of mental health caregiver. And I'm happy to see that, to observe that, to hear that, because, it hit home for my family and I personally. So I'm just happy that people who have that, a loved one who suffers through that, that people can now get that help. I wish my loved one was able to, when she was alive, get that kind of, or be in a society where there's better drugs, better medication, better information, and not feel like they were talked about or frowned down upon, But I'm just glad that as a society we're moving forward to people getting the help that they need, and it's being more embraced. The band-aid has been taken off, is getting the exposure it has long deserved. Because I share with you all in an earlier podcast, my mom, who passed away earlier this year, she suffered from mental illness, and it didn't become realized until after she gave birth to me. Evidently, something in one of her parents' side of the family, certain people, and got sick with mental illness, and then we realized that things could be passed on genetically. Luckily, my son and I don't have that gene, because my father tested our blood, because that's the kind of line of work he did. But my mom and my sister suffer from it, and it's something I really didn't discuss with a lot of people, because it was no one's business. But unfortunately, my sister's very chronically ill, and I'm her guardian, and she's in a facility that caters to people with her condition. But my mom, she was more, well, clearly, she was able to, a totally different mental diagnosis. My sister's my sister's schizophrenic. My mom was bipolar. But true to what I'm hearing, a lot of bipolar people, they thrive. Like my mother thrived. To look at her, that's a bad chick. Dressed down from head to toe, designer this, designer that, working as an executive for New York City Department of Health at the Brooklyn location by Junior's Cheesecake in LIU, right by the Manhattan Bridge. So, a lot of times when she did have an episode, she had the best caregiver, a Brooklyn Heights psychiatrist, the best this, the best that, best treatment. But there were times, before she uh, was referred to this great psychiatrist. It was rough after I was born for my dad, and I remember he dropped me off to my first day of private school at Berkeley Institute, now the Berkeley Carroll Street School, for preschool. It was just he and I, because she had another mental episode. So right after I was born, unfortunately, it was like her having these episodes, and they try to stabilize her and this, that, and the third. But then, good medications, medications were given to her that got her stabilized. And then there were times when she went without a mental episode for decades. And those were the years she became New York City Department of Health Employee of the Month, with a big ceremony with the commissioner and notables. So she had a illustrious, wonderful career. And to people who didn't know, like none of my classmates in elementary school, middle school, high school knew, at, at the schools I attended, that when they would come to our home or have birthday parties for me, or there were gatherings, people who didn't know didn't know. It wasn't until after, in later years, I became more transparent. And after her death this year, very transparent, people didn't know what she was going through. But it wasn't really those business. But again, to look at her, you wouldn't even know, because she had the best care. And I think I shared with you in an early episode. Unfortunately, one of those medications that stabilized her in the early 80s, unfortunately, even years, decades after she was taken off that medicine, lithium, the damage was done. So as an elderly person around the age of 65, it started wreaking havoc on her kidneys. Even though she was long off of lithium, but her primary care physician was monitoring her kidney function, and he knew it was deteriorating. And then it took years for it to finally shut down in 2020. But she was aware that the kidneys were breaking down, and they attributed it to her past usage of lithium from her previous psychiatrist, and the one she had in Raleigh too. Well, he's a Duke doctor. He's a Duke doctor, but the one she had when she moved to Raleigh in early years, he had her also on that lithium, also. But then he cut her off of it. I would say maybe 5-6 years after we moved to North Carolina. So she was off that lithium for over 20 years before her death. But the damage was already done. But back to this topic of mental health. I'm just glad that looking at a lot of TV shows, reality shows, documentaries, news, people are really giving mental health the attention that it deserves, and people are not just dismissing people who are having meltdowns. I think the young kids call it crashing out. It's real. And unfortunately, it seems like in society these days, it seems like it's touching a lot of people. I don't know if it's influence. I mean, I know certain things are genetic, certain things are we take into our bodies that make us become unstable mentally. But it seems like it's like very widespread more than ever. It's like affecting people at a much younger age. Like I'm hearing very detrimental stories about people having mental meltdowns, suicide attempts, committing suicide to end their lives. It's like it's becoming. I mean, I had a student unfortunately unalive himself, and that was very shocking. Oh, an eighth grader, only 13 years old, and that I never forgot that. It was just so shocking. And then I got wind that another student at a school where I taught a year or two after this young child did what he did to himself. Same thing happened, but a child in seventh grade. So these things have always been around in society, but it seems like it's very becoming more common, and younger kids are more and more affected for reasons I don't even know. I'm not a specialist to even delve into why that seems to be the case. But again, people, if you're not feeling like yourself, please reach out to people, let people know, and to the friends and family of who these people reach out to, don't ignore. People's feelings are real. People, no matter how successful they are or may appear, if someone is not seeming the same, if someone is, check on people, check on people, check on people you care about, check on people. Just checking in with someone, a text, a phone call, a letter, a card, a DM or something. Just reach out. But of course, I feel phone calls are always the best. A visit would always be the best. Just check on people because you never know. And it's amazing sometimes the people who have the biggest smile or the brightest light in their eyes, sometimes those are the people who are suffering the most. When I think of that, I think of Robin Williams, the late great comedian. He had great movies. Loved everything he was on from the beginning of his career. I knew him from Mork and Mindy, and then his whole filmology, and he's just a successful, funny guy. But who knew behind those smiles and those bright eyes that he was going through what he was going through, and did what he did to himself? So that, I think, made a lot of people like, whoa. And again, like I said, sometimes the people with the brightest smile, the heartiest laugh, the brightest light in their eyes, they're really not what they appear to be. So just check on your loved ones, and if someone seems like they're not moving the same way, check on them. Take them out. Cook them a meal. Bring them a meal. Take them out to eat. Do something for them. Because we all need somebody. I'm going to say something. I have a talking family, communicative family. Always have. We're a family we used to, when I was growing up, eat at the dinner table. And if you visited my parents' home and they're eating dinner, and you're visiting, we all sat at the table and ate and talked. It was no going into separate rooms with food trays. First of all, food wasn't even allowed beyond either the dining room or they have a kitchen nook, in both houses, Brooklyn and Raleigh. There's a formal dining room, and then there's a room right off the kitchen in both their homes with a little table called the kitchen nook. So we either ate at one of those two tables, but there's no eating in the dining room. There was no eating, in the living room, the family room, bedrooms. Hell to the no. Mama would not allow that. And I just find that gross. Gonna eat a whole meal in the bed. That's just not sanitary. Crumbs getting all. There's tables for a reason. There's a kitchen, the dining room, if you have one, for a reason. Use it. But anyway, we talk. And then, we used to always have this joke in the family. We're each other's free therapy. And it's the truth. It's the truth. There's sometimes if I'm traveling or if my son is traveling, we talk just about every day. Even if he's on a trip, I'm on a trip, we talk. Maybe not as much as when we're local, both in the Raleigh area, but we talk. I actually spoke to him, 3 times yesterday on the phone? When we're both in town and not abroad or away, we talk sometimes 2 or 3 times a day for at least 30, 40 minutes to an hour each. So I know one day, it was the day after Christmas, because he wasn't feeling well. Unfortunately, he had a bad stomach illness. I'm assuming it was a stomach virus. And when he was feeling a little better, because he was out, it started hitting him Sunday, and then he started feeling bad Sunday, all the way through the day after Christmas. So the day after Christmas, when he started feeling better, we resumed our regular phone calls. But and my point of saying is to say, it's therapy. He was talking about something with me the day after Christmas. I was sharing something with him, and we talked 3 times that day. And again, that's our free therapy. Free, priceless. So that would be Friday. Right, Friday was the 27th. Oh no, this was Thursday, the day after Christmas, the 26th, when he was starting to feel better after his stomach illness. But yeah, we commonly speak, and if you have family members, keep that line of communication open because you know something so small can blow up if someone don't have someone to talk to. Like I said, talking is the free, easy therapy. If you have a good friend, good family member, co-worker, someone, use that opportunity to use them as a soundboard. Because I know I rely so much. When my mom was alive, and currently my dad, my son, I use them so much to run things off of them. They're my soundboard. A lot of times when I want to go ham on something or someone, I call one of them up and we talk, and I can start feeling better, and vice versa. When, listen, my son's upset about something, and Mike really doesn't get upset about much. He doesn't have a volatile personality like I do. Thank God he doesn't. But things do sometimes upset him at times, and when it does, he either call me or talk to my dad. And when my mom was alive, he would or call her. She would pray over us and give us that spiritual healing as well. But yeah, we just was we are always was a talking family. Even my sister, when she was in her heyday, in her better days, before her situation took a grip on her, even though she's still a communicative person, even with her situation. But when she was younger, like before 40 and under, or 35 and under, she was that girl, beautiful inside and out, a soundboard, get good advice, a fashionista as well. So yeah, these things are real. So everybody just find your cure, was that Ashford and Simpson song. And that cure could be something, a medicine. It could be some kind of healing, some type of spirituality healing. Because healing doesn't always have to be a medicine. It could be, some people like to just talk with a therapist, a counselor, a psychiatrist, a psychologist. Some people like to utilize people like me. I like to utilize family and friends to talk to. Some people like some retail therapy. Some people like a good night out, a good meal, food therapy, comfort foods. So you just find, some people like to exercise, which I got to get ready to go to the gym. I should have been out and about. I should have already finished my exercise by this time. But you do what you need to do to get what you need to find your cure. I know my cure. My cure is talking, going out, traveling, exercising, good food, and a lot of talking and writing also. So that's my cure. What's yours? So just everybody, it's okay not to be okay. And if you don't feel okay, seek some type of assistance. And that assistance could look different for different people. It might, but I'm telling you, you could never go wrong with finding someone to talk to. You could never go wrong. And from that, a person might need some medication. And if that's what the specialist or doctor recommends, that's okay. You know, it's okay. But the bottom line is, people need to know when they don't feel good, reach out. And then also, people also just be vigilant when you notice that someone you care about or close to may not look the same or may not sound or act the same. Reach out, be there for that person, because that could really make or break someone's situation. And a lot of times, all someone needs is someone to talk to. Someone needs someone's time and attention, and that could be a life and death situation. It could be a game changer. It could save someone's life. It could save someone's mental health. It could be that balance, that stability that someone needs. So, just some things to think about. So just check on the people you love. Just be there for people you love and care about. And let's help each other out. Let's love on each other. Let's be kind to each other. And that's all for now. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Stay beautiful, stay blessed, stay positive. Bye.